Dictionary.com defines an unplanned approach as impromptu, done without preparation, unwitting, done without awareness, spontaneous, done without thought. Wait a minute. That means you guys don't have a plan?
No.
Well, that's dumb. You might as well start the show.
Get out of here. Punk, come down here and start playing around. Yeah, right.
Hey, Dad, can I be on the podcast? Yeah, we'll let you do the intro.
Yeah.
Nice. Very nice.
Hey, everybody, we're back. Today we are with Pete Fleck.
Episode 41. You jumped the gun.
How did I jump the gun?
Because that's what I was going to say. Remember, we just got off the phone and talked about this, Kyle.
My fault.
A lot of people are like, what episode is this? Like, my dad's friends couldn't find his episode, Kyle, because we are so creative with the names and descriptions. Nobody knows who horse.
You should see the shit we throw up. But anyway,
nobody knows who's new horse, cop, manslaughter in jail was. They didn't know that was my dad.
They didn't know that was your dad.
So episode 41. Thanks for joining us. Welcome back. Go.
Okay, we are with Pete Fleck, who has basically done it all. I mean, just the quick conversation we had. You've been a police officer. You're in the military. You're writing books. I mean, what aren't you doing other than painting the inside of this church?
Well, what you didn't say, I don't do everything well. I do everything. But,
so you fit right in then, Pete.
You want to be part of the show?
I've been playing piano for 15 years now, and
nice.
People still can't believe how bad I suck at it.
I've had a guitar for 2 years. I'll race you.
I have a harmonica, and I can do do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. That's it.
I can't do that. I just do Pete Townsend, the...
Oh, you just look good?
Right. Yeah, that's what I do. I stand around and look good.
So that's great. No, where do you want to start?
We can just, kick it off, with my early years.
Okay.
And I was born in Fort Carson, Colorado. My father was career military. Spent a lot of time in Germany as a kid, which was just absolutely awesome.
Do you speak German? Sprechen Sie Deutsch?
Negative.
Nine.
English is required learning for the Germans. And so,
really?
I'd go over there and go, good Entschuldigen Sie bitte, and they'd go, what do you want? And I'd be like, okay,
a ham sandwich.
They just let you talk and let you talk and go, this idiot doesn't even know what he's saying.
Yeah, exactly. And then they're like, hey, you're a 12-year-old American kid off the base, so we know you want a Hefeweizen, so let's quit playing around.
Sweet.
Now, my father retired out at Fort Benjamin Harrison, which is how we ended up in Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
I was a non-stellar student. Out of a graduating class of 98, I think I was ranked 96.
Which high school?
Mount Vernon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we got a friend that's
out in Mount Vernon. Man, that's when it was small. Now Mount Vernon's big. It's bigger school. It's 4A now.
It is. Yeah. It's unrecognizable to me.
Right.
And stuff. So I was voted most likely to go to the electric chair or something like that. And, was.
Is that in the yearbook? Can we see that? We're gonna put that.
You
on
just
the
waving.
I think in the yearbook it says most likely to become a professional ninja. I got into martial arts in the 7th grade.
Oh, sweet.
And an incredible geography teacher by the name of Mr. Brock Brown was noticing I was getting torqued up quite a bit, and because I ran my mouth. I don't think I was
I don't know
bullied.
anybody like that, Kyle.
No.
That's why I had big friends. I didn't get into martial arts. I was always the smallest guy I hung out with because of my mouth.
Hey, Sun Tzu would be proud of me. Right. Absolutely. Mr. Brown took me aside and was like, hey, Pete, since you can't shut your mouth, do you want to learn how to fight? And I was like, that sounds like a really good idea. So, barely graduated from high school, ran off to the military, went to Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Home of the airborne.
Right.
We'll be anywhere in the world in 24 hours. So that was 1987 when I made it there. They hand you a dream sheet, and hey, where do you want to go?
Where do you want to be?
And I slid it back to the sergeant, and I said, I want to go someplace so horrible nobody wants to be there. I just really want to be challenged.
Right.
John Rambo.
They left me at Fort Bragg for 3 years.
That's
Yeah, that's it. That is the military for you. And I mean, I volunteered for Panama. I volunteered for Bright Star operation in the Sinai. And nothing was going on at that time. I came back home, got into the Army Reserves and into a training unit, for drill sergeants. And that's when Desert Storm broke out while I was away at the Drill Sargeant Academy. And, I was like, oh, man, I'm going to be out in time to be a part of this. No, it was over.
It was pretty quick. I mean,
it was quick.
That was the absolute definition of ass kicking.
It was, yeah. They went in, they took care of business. They knew their objective, and bam, they took care of business. And, so they pulled that one off without me. When I came home in 1990 from Fort Bragg, I was actually going to be an accountant. I love how numbers don't lie, unlike words.
Right.
Yeah. And I got a job as unarmed security supervisor at the city market downtown Indianapolis. Right across the street from the city county building.
God, you've seen some shit then.
So, we had 2 divisions of police right across the street. So they felt like, okay, this doesn't have to be an armed assignment. I was there 15 minutes on my first day, and we had a shooting and stabbing.
Welcome to Indianapolis.
That's back when it was supposed to be nice, too. Now I'd expect it almost.
Oh, yeah, unbelievable. A young lady by the name of Teresa was filing charges against her boyfriend. I believe his name's Robert McKayham. He had a real Irish name. And Robert waited for her outside the building, and when she emerged, shot her 4 times in the back with a .25 caliber pistol.
Oh, my God.
She ran across the street to the city market.
Where you were unarmed.
Where I'm being trained by Matt. And Matt just says, Pete, you're going to love working here. Nothing ever happens. And I'm like, that's my kind of job.
Maybe it's you, Pete.
Right. We'll talk more about that, too. Next thing, we hear a blood-curdling scream. Robert chased her down, grabbed a butcher knife off one of the counters, is now repeatedly stabbing her.
Holy shit.
Only assume he thought we were IPD officers. It wasn't IMPD back then. It was IPD.
Right.
Because we all had the same crappy uniforms back in the 90s.
Right.
And so, he saw us. He takes off running. And we run down the stairs. And
does he still have the knife at this point?
He's got the knife and the gun. We're unarmed. Matt wants to go and get this guy. And I'm like, dude, do we even have medical? What's going on here? But, I'm not leaving my wingman, so bam, we go flying down the stairs, and I run almost right into Teresa. She is a bloody mess, and she looks at me and says, "Help me," and I'll never forget that look. And so I sit her down, I put her back against the wall. I say, "Hey, my name's Pete. I'm going to be taking care of you until the paramedics get here. Don't worry about this. I got it." She was in shock. She wasn't feeling any pain. She would ask me random questions. And she goes, "Was I shot?" And I go, "Look, you were shot, but it's not. I get shot like this all the time. I got this. Don't worry about it."
That's what she said.
I'm just trying
anything to keep her calm. Yeah.
I've been shot several times. God, how bad are you at this job?
It's okay.
Sorry, man.
No problem.
Busting balls.
Blood's pouring out of her neck, so I put direct pressure on that, and then blood starts coming out of her chest. So I got pressure going there. Blood starts coming out of her abdomen, and I'm doing a yoga act on this poor girl, just trying to keep her insides inside.
Wow. Right.
She asked me about her. She goes, "Is my mom here?" And I go, "Your mom's outside talking to police. She says everything." I don't know where mom is, and the whole time I'm thinking, "Lady, I'm sorry. You're sliding into home, but there is really nothing I can do for you. But I'm going to talk real sweet to you until you head off towards the light."
Right.
At that time, Robert steps out from behind a van with his own gun to his head, and IPD smokes him. They drop him right there.
I'm okay. Yeah, I'm okay.
Fitting end.
Yeah.
They knew him.
No kidding.
They knew him. No, they knew what a violent person
he
was.
And, that's rough.
So the paramedics, they showed up in 15 minutes. And I usually when I tell this, I'm always like, they finally showed up. No, it only took them 15 minutes, but it was just forever.
Yeah, it seems like, we talk a lot of, this is going to be completely unplanned. We talk about a lot about baseball. Kyle and I do on this. And it's like what you're describing, it sounds like the bench clearing brawl we were in where it only lasts 2 minutes, 3 minutes, but it feels like an eternity. You're just like, oh my God. And you're like, where are these guys? I imagine that's exactly what you're explaining, right?
Oh my goodness. Oh, yeah. And yeah, just like that, every fighter knows.
Right. It's 3 minute rounds, right? Or 5 minute rounds.
The seconds that they use while you're fighting aren't the same seconds they use during your break.
No, it's not even close.
You swear that clock is broken.
Yeah.
And, when you make it back to your stool and you get a drink of water and they go, it's time to fight again. And you're like, no, use the same seconds you use while I'm fighting and stuff. And
I've only been here for 5. I just sat down.
Exactly.
It took you 30 to get over here.
Right.
Oh, man.
Wow.
But the paramedics got there. Teresa flatlined, which I was totally expecting. They managed to get a pulse back, get her out the door. 3 days later, she's given an interview on Channel 8.
Nice.
You're kidding.
I'm blown away. I'm absolutely blown away by this. So I learned anything can happen anywhere at any time.
Right.
And I don't want people to be paranoid. I want them to put their phone down for a minute and take a look around. Take a look at your surroundings. The other thing I learned was as long as we're drawing breath, we're in the fight.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that totally.
That's great. That's great. That's a great way to put it. That's crisp, clean, and right to the point, man.
Whenever I train police officers or whenever I train soldiers, you'd see a soldier, somebody shoot a blank round at them, and they go, "Oh, I'm dead," and we would correct that right away. And, no, you keep fighting. I'll tell you when you're dead.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Let your sergeant tell you when you're dead. You keep fighting. And, especially when I was working with our SWAT team and stuff like that, we never let anybody go, you keep fighting through. And then the third thing I learned was I want to put myself in a position where I can do something about what I saw that day. And that's when I decided to become a police officer, which totally surprised everybody. I got a job with Capitol Police Department. Had nightmares for 3 months. Used to have this reoccurring nightmare where it was just me and Robert in the city market, and he's chasing me around, and I would hide like behind a counter or something, and when I'd peek up, he'd be right there and shoot me in the face with a shotgun, so I'd sit up, cold sweat coming down.
God.
And I learned about feelings from my dad. My dad pretty much was like, no, you push that down deep and let it come out as a psychotic episode in your 70s.
That's right. You push it down deep, throw some dirt on it.
We don't need to hear about that right now. Not at Thanksgiving. Thanks, Pete. Not at Thanksgiving.
So, the drill sergeant Fleck, drink some water. You're going to be all right.
Did you ever get to be a drill sergeant?
Yes.
You did?
Yeah. We can talk a little bit about that.
My dad still talks about that shit and how that was. He said when he was, because he went into the Guard during the Vietnam era, and he said that the guy in what movie is it?
Full Metal Jacket.
Full Metal Jacket, the greatest half movie ever made.
Yep.
He said it was hard for him. He said he used to love listening to some of the idiots, the way they would respond to the drill sergeants and have to keep himself from laughing because he knew that drill sergeant was going to tear him a new asshole, man.
Oh, my God. Yeah, they'd come up and, we call them Joes, just short for G.I. Joe. It wasn't a put down. We just say, hey, get my Joes down here and stuff. So, quick break. They would come up and just ask the dumbest stuff, and it just drive you insane. And when they'd ask for something, the stupid ones did it publicly. So I had one kid come up to me, and he goes, Drill Sergeant, my wife's pregnant. Can I give her a call and make sure she's doing okay? Okay, now the other 54, 55 Joes in a platoon. The other 54 are now watching. Okay, right. So if I say yes, I'm going to be, hey, Drill Sergeant, my dog's pregnant. Can I go? Jeez. So I look right at this private, and he's like, she's pregnant. Can I give her a call? And I go, no, Private. I'm sure the father of the baby's calling her every night. Get the hell away from her.
He's standing right beside her.
Okay, so I had to be vicious. I had to slam him hard, So then I go get my junior drill sergeant, and I go out there, get knothead, walk him down to the phones. If one other, a-hole asks me, to use the phone tonight, then I'm going to know it came from him, and I'm going to smoke him so hard that,
Right.
he's just going to be praying for death. So, but that, yeah.
You know what? That first story that he was telling, about the gruesomeness of it.
Uh-huh.
I was thinking the whole time, everybody that's listened to the last 5 or 10 episodes of this, it's all stupid hilarity. They're going to get on this and be like, do I have the right podcast? And there you go. There's the light side.
There's the light side.
Oh, yeah. The drill sergeant stuff. I took notes from that. I kept all my emails and everything from that time.
Uh-huh.
And it's hilarious. But, okay, anyway, back to, so I get a job with Capitol Police Department.
Uh-huh.
I call my dad, and I'm like, hey, Dad, I got picked up by a police department. And he's like, well, keep your mouth shut, and I'll come bond you out.
Right. That's what my parents.
the optimist.
That's what my parents would say, though. Where are you at? I'll be over in a little bit.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like, no, I got a cop job. And he's like, who would hire you as a cop? And I'm like, well, Capitol Police would. And, so in 1992, they sent me to the police academy, Indiana Law Enforcement Academy.
Uh-huh.
My roommate was an officer by the name of Mike Dove from Brownsburg.
Mm-hmm.
And he was going through with one of his best friends, Pat Bullock, who is still working for Brownsburg. He's a captain now there, doing very well. And I rode with a lot of different police departments and really fell in love with Brownsburg. Love how they treated the people. And that's what really, even at that time, determined to me, hey, this is a good department. They work with the people. They don't work against them. Got so lucky. I got hired by them. I think it was February 95.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, February 95, got picked up by them. And just had the most fantastic 27 years. Now, my polygraph test I was completely honest. I went in and told them everything.
Uh-huh.
And the next day, the chief is like, okay, come in here and talk to us real quick. And I'm like, oh, boy. So I go in, and he goes, look, Pete, you were totally forthright and honest with us, but geez.
We don't want to know all that.
Yeah, wow, man. And they're like, you never got arrested? And I was like, no, I skated on, everything I stole, everything I did. I wasn't a drug guy. But I got that thrill from stealing.
Mm-hmm.
And, and I didn't learn it. We're all trying to satisfy 4 primal needs, certainty, uncertainty, significance, and connection and relationship. And that gave me my uncertainty.
Certainty, right.
But then I learned that, oh, man, jumping out of planes, climbing into the ring, or kicking a door, man, that gave me that same rush. And, so everything, I was able to turn everything to that.
Uh-huh.
They're like, okay, this didn't make things any better. They said, okay, we're gonna go with you, but you're starting under a dark cloud. And I go, what does that pay? Yeah, I'm glad you guys liked it. They did.
They
not
didn't
like
think it was particularly funny.
Then I'm at an interview with the police commissioners.
Uh-huh.
And one of the commissioners looks at my record and goes, oh, it says here you love to do martial arts. And I go, oh, yes, ma'am. I've been doing martial arts since the 7th grade. And this other commissioner goes, oh, so you like to go home and kick the old bag around? And I go, no, she'd leave me.
Yeah, right.
And I fire it out that fast. And
Right.
I'm like, oh, man, you said that out loud. And they look at each other. And then they start laughing, and I'm like, yeah, we're just, little kids start, can I have a job, please? And
I'm the black cloud guy.
but in no time at all, I'd established myself. I treated the public really well. I treated my inmates, really well. Got quite a network of kids, and they call them flex mopes. And they were just the kids that would mope around town.
Right.
And I'd go and sit with them and just talk with them. At that time, Hardee's was like the only place. And I'd sit there and, every now and then buy them a burger or something like that. And so, that was awesome. So, married, I got married as soon as I got home from the military. I'm old-fashioned, so I went to her father and, asked if I could marry his pregnant daughter. So,
Well, I mean, you got to ask, right?
These are dynamite,
just,
man. This is dynamite. I love this.
You got to ask.
Have you ever done comedy? You ever done stand-up comedy?
We're getting to that.
I mean, you set them up and knock them down really well.
As a matter of fact, my biggest passion for the longest time was competition fighting. Just love getting in the ring and mixing it up. When I
What
went
discipline?
The discipline.
No, I mean, what discipline? Sorry.
I started in Taekwondo, which I don't want to upset anybody, but that's kind of like the Dungeons and Dragons of martial arts.
That's Kyle
and stuff.
Taekwondo.
But then you got guys like Machida,
Right.
Who is straight traditional and just knocking.
He's an
people
ass
out.
kicker, right? Yeah, I'm a big Leo Machida fan.
Very good. Yeah, so am I.
Yeah.
So am I.
One of my favorites.
When him, Rashad, and Jackson were kind of circling each other.
I know what he's talking about.
Yeah, you must be on the fitness program of Machida, right?
I could be.
In his retirement,
right?
In the military, started fighting full contact, and just got addicted to it. Came home, I get this new instructor. His name Master James Likens, big fat guy, and a buddy of mine takes me to him, and I look at him, and I'm like, oh, there's 2 hours of life I'm not getting back.
Right.
Fat boy beats me, effortlessly. Never met anybody with that kind of power. So for 10 years, I'm going to him 3 times a week and just getting beat down. Coming home black and blue, and my wife is like, I don't understand why you do this. And I was like, I can't explain it to you. I can't not show up. Okay, I've got to be there. I've got to show that, because the one thing he taught me was get up.
right?
Sure.
Get up. He would call me up and say, hey, you got to fight on Wednesday. I hope your Muay Thai is good. And he really got me into boxing in a big way. The 911 Slugfest that's done a couple times a year.
Yes.
He calls me up in 2001, the very first one. He goes, hey, Pete, I signed up for this 911 Slugfest. You know what that means? I go, it means I'm signed up for it.
Right. It means I'll see you there.
Should I bring my own stuff?
And he was just like, yeah, you got wisdom beyond your years. So I'm going to fighting schools for the police department. I was their primary instructor for the longest time for defensive tactics. Then the Army really stepped their game up in the 2000s and started these combatives courses that were just, nothing to. Level 1 was just a beat down. Level 2 was an instructor course, and I went to level 3 in June of 2005, and it's a month long, and you train, Monday through Thursday, and then you have 3 fights every Friday. And at the end of level 2, they tell you, if you go to level 3, there's the possibility of you suffering head trauma. And I'm like, give me the paper.
Right.
And so I signed up. I was the first drill sergeant in my battalion to go. So I was straight up the guinea pig. And it was the most amazing fight school I'd ever been to. What I couldn't believe was we know we're going to be fighting each other in the school. Every Friday you got three fights, and it's going to be with the guys in the school. The first day they ask who's got prior experience. I ain't raising my hand. And I had guys raising their hands, and oh yeah, I kickbox, I do jiu-jitsu, I do this, and I'm taking notes. Okay, this is your range of combat. Your ranges of combat are projectile range, intermediate weapon range, kicking range, striking range, knees and elbows are the same range, and then your grappling.
Right.
And you just always need to know, hey, this is what range I'm in. And so I'm taking notes. I keep my hand down, and so the first week was boxing. And my first match, now they taught us a lot of good boxing, but something they didn't teach us, which Master Likens really got into my head, was slip drills. My opponent throws his first punch, I slip, and I light him up. And the instructors are like, have you trained before? And I go, I watched a lot of videos before I came out
Rocky.
here and stuff.
I've seen the Rocky series.
And then the second week comes around. I beat one guy so bad in the boxing phase, he kicked me in the junk. And I mean, just straight kicked me in the junk and jumps back. And he's like, Fleck, I'm sorry. I didn't know what to do. And you could tell it wasn't intent. You know, it was just instinct.
Instinct, right.
I'm in trouble. But I'm like, bro, okay, we're good. And then the second week, we're getting ready to do the kickboxing phase. And, you know, they're saying, anybody got any questions? And I start asking all these advanced questions. Can we rake the lead hand? Are we limited to your strike and stuff? And guys are looking at me. And I go,
this asshole. He sat here the first week, kicked everybody's ass, and now we find out he's a damn professional.
And that was one school. Pro fighters, you know, would go to that school.
Mm-hmm.
And, I thought it was just absolutely amazing. The last day, they throw in sticks, and you just beat the piss out of each other.
Yeah, because didn't Militich kind of circle around that? Am I right?
What happened was 2nd Battalion Rangers went completely out into the world and looking, because that's when the Jessica Lynch incident happened, and the chief of staff said, oh my God, my soldiers are weak. My
vulnerable.
Soldiers are weak.
Yep, right.
We are starting again with the combatives program, and every soldier will go through level 1, which I said, was
just an ass kicking.
That's it. It's just a beat down. So 2nd Battalion Rangers goes out into the world, and they liked the Sambo that was being taught to the Russians, and especially for its competition value.
Right.
And then they went to Gracie School, and then they were like, "This is us. This is us."
It evens the playing field.
Yes.
Yeah. What they did was it changed everything.
It did.
Changed everything.
I don't know a lot about all of it, but I know in the first UFCs, Hoist Gracie's winning all those against guys that are six times the size of him.
And Hoist was the run.
Right.
That's what was amazing. He was the run of the family.
Right.
Now, do you know why they won?
What do you mean, why?
Do you know why jiu-jitsu was so superior to every other style?
I don't. I'm anxious to hear it.
It is the one style where the strategy doesn't change no matter who you're
No
fighting.
matter who you fight.
And that's it. It's not necessarily better.
Right.
But with jiu-jitsu, you close the distance. You take your opponent down. You get a dominant position, and you finish the fight.
Right.
Whether they're fighting a boxer, kickboxer, Muay Thai, whatever, they're going to close the distance, take them down, get a dominant position, and finish the fight. Boxers and everybody else, they've got to change their style, again, depending on that range of combat.
Right.
But then you got guys like Chuck Liddell. They get a basic knowledge of takedown defense, and he's knocking people. If you didn't notice, Chuck did amazing anytime he fought a ground fighter.
Oh, yeah.
When he fought another stand-up guy, sometimes things
It was a little dicey sometimes, right?
Didn't go that well. But no, and it doesn't mean you always have to get a black belt in jiu-jitsu, but, in the UFC, you need to have a basic knowledge of takedowns and, at least how to defend against it and, keep that fight in the range that you want it. But, no, I always love that about jiu-jitsu. And, jiu-jitsu came from Japan. It was originally, from Jigoro Kano, who created judo, which actually means the gentle way. And then one of his students goes to Brazil, hooks up with the Gracies, and then we got the combat style of jiu-jitsu. And which is amazing because Jigoro Kano did, he took on everybody.
Right.
Just like the Gracies did.
Right.
And it's just, and that's what I love about the UFC is that constant transition of, this week this is good, next week this is, and it's just constantly in transition. So you never know what move's going to be the next one.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I watch it. My son and I watch it every weekend. Love it.
That's amazing. You know what? This is a good spot. This is a good spot to stop.
Okay.
If we want, and come back.
Okay.
For another episode.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right. Well,
Pete,
then
stay with us. We're gonna go ahead and sign off here and get into episode 42. Man, how about that? That was fascinating, man. That was awesome. Appreciate it. Come back and join us next week.
That's it for today's episode. But before you go, ask yourself this. What's your unplanned story? Because here on Unplanned Approach, we don't script the chaos. We celebrate it. Real people, real moments, real life plot twists that no one saw coming. Whether it was a chance encounter, a missed train, or a wild pivot that changed everything. We want to hear it. Got a story that deserves the mic? Hit us up. Submit yours at unplannedapproach.com. or find us on socials at Unplanned Approach. Until next time, stay spontaneous, stay real, and never underestimate going in without a plan. This is Unplanned Approach, where the detour is the destination.